Hi everyone, and welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. Now that the holidays are gone and all the sweets and all the heavy type foods are done with, maybe for some, maybe not. I know for me it has to be. So today I will be making stuffed portobello mushrooms for dinner. And I'm going to show you kind of a low fat, it's sort of a healthier version of a stuffed portobello mushrooms. I'm going to show you how I put it all together. Okay, so in my saute pan, I added about 2 tablespoons. Now it's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And to that, as it is heating, I'm going to swirl it around. I have here a pound of chicken breast ground, and it's good. It's lean. It's very, very lean. There's only 2 grams of fat for every 4 ounces in here. So I'm going to make 2 big portobello mushrooms. So what I'm going to do is just take half of this and put it in my pan. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move this around because it's going to start to stick. And with that, I'm going to add some chopped onion. Ooh, that smells so good already. And some chopped red bell pepper. And then this is the stem and the little, what do you call those? That's in that portobello mushroom. I'll think of it. I'll let you know. Anyway, that's the bits that's in here. And I'm going to incorporate that. I want to keep this moving around. And I will now add a little bit of salt. This is coarse kosher salt. You could use whatever salt you want. And I like a little bit of heat. You don't have to. You know, I tell you that all the time anyway. And also I like to add some whole thyme. This is all dry. Get this stirred up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is continue working with this. I'm going to break up the ground chicken and I want to cook those vegetables, everything together. Oh, one other thing I did forget to tell you. I'm going to add Worcestershire. This is absolutely my favorite sauce. I think it's great with mushrooms and with chicken. And I'm going to probably sprinkle in maybe about a teaspoon of that. Get this mixed around. So what I'll do is I'll cover this up and I'll let it cook until the vegetables are almost completely tender. And I'll show you what I do next. All right, now I've already tasted my chicken and it tastes good. There's no need to add any more spices. But now while the chicken is still hot, I have just a small amount, maybe a little more than a tablespoon of whipped cream cheese. I'm going to throw that into here. This will help to hold everything together, plus it will give it flavor. Flavor is what we want. Go in here and scrape every bit of it out. As my mom used to say, waste not, want not. So we are not wasting. Okay, great. Now, what's important here is to mix it well. You want to get that cream cheese melted into your chicken and your vegetables. Oops, of course, leave it to me. Messy Linda. Okay, so now the cream cheese is mixed in well. That was about, I would say, 2 grams of fat that I added into here. So we're doing good with this so far. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to add some breadcrumbs. These are just Italian style breadcrumbs. Or you're on a gluten-free diet, then just get gluten-free breadcrumbs here. Okay, I will sprinkle some into here. Now, I don't want to put too much. I want to keep some moisture. And also I like to add a little bit of cheese. Now you can add shredded cheese. I'm going to grate in some Parmesan Reggiano cheese just for flavor. I want to keep the processed cheese down. This is a good alternative. And plus this was packed with flavor. And of course I didn't put too much salt in the beginning because this Parmesan cheese is very salty. Okay, so I will mix this together. Now, what I need to do is prepare my pan. I have a nice casserole. This actually used to be my mom's. I think I'm thinking of my mom a lot lately. Her birthday's coming up next month, and so she's been on my mind a lot. So to prepare this pan, I'm going to take some cut tablespoons of butter. It's gotten soft. And I'm going to put it onto my plate here. Okay, and then of course, more Worcestershire. You don't have to, if you don't like Worcestershire, you could use soy sauce, you could use whatever sauce you like. What's going to happen is when I put this in the oven, all of that is going to melt and the mushroom will absorb them. Okay, so before I get going with the mushrooms, in the meantime, I will cook up some pasta. So before I do that, I'm going to salt the water. Whoa, there we go. That's what we want. We want it to taste like the ocean. So I put 2 teaspoons of kosher salt in that, of course. And I'm going to, actually for this recipe, again, I'm trying to keep things a little more on the healthier side. I'm going to use whole grain pasta. It's a thin spaghetti. Now, one thing I found with whole grain pastas is they do take a little longer to cook. Now, they say al dente is 6 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to probably take maybe a little more than that. This meal is for 2. Okay, so I'm going to get that cooking. And I'm going to forget about it for just a moment. Okay, now over here, I've got my big, beautiful, beefy Portobello, or Portobello, however you want to pronounce it, mushrooms. Oh, and by the way, I looked it up. The inside of this is called gills. That's the name I was trying to come up with. So now my chicken mixture is already mixed up well. And as you can see, there's very little liquid in here because the breadcrumbs had absorbed them. Okay, I'm going to use my big scoop. And I'm going to go in here like this. Actually, it'd probably be better off if I use a larger spoon. So bear with me a second here. We have a lot. So just fill your mushroom caps. And when you do it too, just kind of pat it down so it all kind of sticks together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other mushroom and I'm going to put them in my pan and I'm going to attend to my pasta and then I'll come back to you and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so here are the portobello mushrooms. They're all stuffed. They're ready to go in the oven. I have my oven preheated at 355 degrees. What I will do is take foil because I want to create a steam so that everything cooks down, adds moisture. I'm going to bake it for about 15 minutes. I'll check it and see if it's done. And if not, I'll let it go longer. Otherwise, I'll take it out. And then I'm going to show you the next step I go on to. Okay, so my pasta is now just sitting in the water. It's still very hot. I want it to continue to cook just a little bit longer. For me, personally, I like softer pasta. So what I'm going to do now is make a sauce, if you will, for it. So in my pot here, I have warming up. I will add oil. Now I know oil has fat in it, but it's a healthier fat. Oops, excuse me. This is the extra virgin olive oil, so it's better to use that. So I'm going to probably add about 2 tablespoons right there and let that heat right up. I'll cover that afterwards. And then I'm going to take a little bit of butter probably about 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to let that all melt together. So what I will be adding to this is artichokes. Now these artichokes came from the can. I've drained them and I cut them into smaller pieces. And we're going to use fresh baby spinach. So now I have to let this melt. And I want to get my ladle because I'm going to take some of the pasta water and put that in here. So as soon as this is melted, I'll show you what I add to it. Okay, so the butter and the oil have now melted, so it is ready. I didn't brown the butter. That's okay, though. I'm going to add, again, me and my red pepper flakes. I'm going to add just a small amount. And then I will take, let me raise this heat up a little bit, get it really hot. I'm going to take the artichokes. I love artichokes. Artichokes are so good for you. My friend at work, Leah, laughs at me because I'll make a sandwich with artichokes. Like I use Ezekiel bread. It's the only bread that I really eat right now. And I use my artichokes. And I make a sandwich out of it. She's laughing at me. I told her, but I'm healthy. So anyway, I've got this cooking. And now I will add in my spinach. I was thinking about adding tomatoes, but I didn't really quite want that tomato base for this. I wanted to keep it more of this like green, light, earthy tone to it. Okay, so I will also add a little bit of salt. I have a tendency to use a little too much salt, so I'm kind of fanatic with salt. That's why a lot of times my face gets puffy because I retain the fluid. Okay, so now what I will do here is I'm going to let this cook down for a little while. Right now, the portobello mushrooms are in the oven, still cooking, baking, and I'll continue making the sauce, but I'll get back to you in a few minutes. Okay, so I put the mushrooms back into the oven. They were actually cooking for about 30 minutes. My oven has a tendency to run slow or low, no matter what temperature I put it at. At any rate, I took the foil off of it, put it back in so it'll kind of crisp up a little bit on top. So what I'm going to work on now is my sauce. So the spinach and the artichokes are completely cooked down. I have a little bit of the reserved pasta water here I'm going to add in. Give that a stir. My pasta is ready. I'm just going to drain it here. Okay, what I'm going to do carefully, hopefully not make a mess like I usually do, I'm going to take the pasta, move it over here. Sorry about that, guys. And I'm going to put it in my sauce because I want it to continue cooking. It's at a perfect doneness for me. But now what I want to do is get the flavor from the spinach and the artichokes into the pasta. Just a little bit more. Okay, so I think I'll just leave the rest there. And now I will just mix this together as best as I can, okay? And I'll continue working on this, and then we come back, I'll have the mushrooms out of the oven and this all mixed together, and we'll put it all together. Okay, so they're out of the oven, and I do have some of the liquid from the Worcestershire and the butter. And I'm just gonna drizzle it on the top of the mushroom like that. Oh my goodness, they smell so good. And they look so appealing. I cannot wait to get into there. Okay, so now my pasta is all completed. It's all combined with the artichoke and the spinach. So what I'm going to do now is just take some out, spoon it into my bowl like this. And now I'm going to take my beautiful mushroom. Look at that. Place it right on top. And now last but not least, my Parmesan Reggiano cheese all over just like that. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll take a picture of this lovely meal here, and then I'll get back to you. All right, here it is. I just can't wait to try it. It's so beefy. It's meaty, and you know what's good about it? It's filling. And also mushrooms are very good for you. They're high in nutrition. The nutrients are selenium and zinc, which is good for your hair, and vitamin D. It does help with inflammation and reduces the risk of heart attack. So think about it. If you're not a fan of mushrooms, give this a try because I think you will like it. So anyway, enough talking. Now time to taste. Mm. Mm. It's so meaty. It's like having a piece of steak, and the flavors coming out of this is amazing. Worcestershire, I love that stuff, but you can use whatever you want. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video of me making this beautiful stuffed portobello mushroom. And remember, everyone, enjoy life and never stop learning. Bye now.